Oh my gosh. I have like 70 pounds I have to lose by tomorrow if I want to fit into that dress. What am I gonna do? I guess I'm just gonna have to starve myself in order to fit into that dress because I can't go out looking like this. I'm just so fat. We all have those people in our lives who can kind of sound like that a lot. I think one of the big back to school stressors is when there are people around you, friends, acquaintances at school, who are constantly diet talking and kind of belittling their bodies, belittling the mind and food and body connection relationships that you've been working on recovery, and you just are trying to get through a day and take care of yourself, and then all of a sudden you just hear them, oh my gosh, do you know how many calories there are in that? Like, I wouldn't eat that, once on the lips, forever on the hips. And they just constantly are belittling you and saying, okay, well, you should be eating this, you should go with this diet, or you should do this. Or then they'll look at other people and they'll place judgment and say, oh my gosh, do you see her? She looks like she's put on so much weight. It's because I saw her eating cake yesterday. Yeah, don't eat cake. And we hear people like that who come into our lives and are just so obsessed with talking about food and weight and calories. And I'm not talking about the eating disordered individuals. I'm talking about people who are excessive dieters, the ones who think that the only way that they will get that is get the social approval is by saying that they need to diet, saying that they think they're fat and they need to lose weight. We all have those friends who are just like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. And then, of course, the chorus of your friends join in and, oh no, you're not. You're beautiful. You're thin. You're absolutely gorgeous. Don't believe that. You don't need to go on a diet. I think that you're lovely. You're awesome. You're amazing. And that does kind of boost the esteem. There are people out there who do fish for those compliments. We all can bring somebody to mind, somebody that we've met maybe in passing or maybe a close friend. And I think that it's so interesting to see that as we're working on recovery, like, you can still hear these voices. You can pinpoint the people who are talking about food in such a negative way and kind of belittling that body-mind connection. And they're just putting it as food. It's food on a plate. It is a object instead of a fueling mechanism in order to make your body function properly. So this video is all about kind of making sure that you have coping skills and kind of different ways that you can deal with people in your life, in your school environment, who are constantly talking about dieting, weight loss, calories, fat, food, the lot, because it is hard when you're trying to work on recovery, stay on track, and you're like, okay, well, it's not going to trigger me if they're talking about this, and then all of a sudden they start talking, and Ed's like perking up his ear, and he's listening, and he's just getting all into it, and oh, I'm fine. I'm not gonna relapse. I'm doing great. Like I'm eating fine. I'm on my meal plan. My therapy's going well. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves in relapse, and we're like trapped in this place, and we have no idea where we came, like how'd we get here. And the thing is, that's the way Ed works. That's the nature of the beast. He slips his way in and makes it seem like, oh well, it's socially acceptable. I can just, my friends are dieting. Like it's normal. It's not like anything like I'm not doing it to lose weight. Like, I know it doesn't have anything to do with Ed. And you slowly skip that meal, or you find yourself binging, or you purge, or you engage in some other symptom, whether it be exercising, laxatives, something, and you slowly find yourself back in that revolving trap of the eating disorder, wrapped in Ed's grip. And so I think that it's so important to recognize there are people out there who will make it difficult, but also realizing that you have what it takes, that you can control yourself. You can't control what other people do, how they react and respond, but you can control yourself in those types of situations. And so my first advice would be to try changing the topic. See if when somebody's like, oh my gosh, I need to lose 70 pounds by tomorrow, that you could be like, oh, well, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm going to the movies with my sister, and we're planning on seeing The Dark Knight Rises, whatever. Um, and like kind of changing the topic, or even having a story like, oh my gosh, guys, like, did I tell you last weekend, my sister and I went out, we saw The Dark Knight Rises, and oh my gosh, it was so good, like, loved that movie. Never seen it, guys. But, like, coming up with something, even if you have to, just to change that topic. Because, again, trapping yourself in the negative talk of weight loss, food, calories, fat, diminishes that body-mind connection that you've been working on recovery, diminishes the fact that food is fuel, and it kind of brings you back to that, well, it's just an object, and I can manipulate that, and I can work with that. But recognizing that you need to remain strong in your recovery, you need to ensure that you're dedicated to that, because your mental sanity, your mental health, and your body is one of the most important things that you need to take care of. So the first thing that I would recommend would be to change the topic. The second thing is get yourself out of that situation. If you're around somebody who you've tried changing the topic like 7 times and they are just not getting the hint, maybe actually physically leaving the environment, giving yourself a time to check in with yourself can definitely be beneficial. Whether it be that you're at a social gathering outside of school and it's like 3 girls over here talking about diet talk, and then over here there's just a bunch of other people. You don't know what they're talking about, but being like, oh, like I didn't say hi to like so and so. I'm gonna go say hi, and just like excusing yourself, or even being like, oh, sorry, like if you're at school, like I have to go to the bathroom, and you go to the bathroom, take a few breaths, collect yourself, and maybe like either reconnect with them when you feel it's comfortable, or connect up with another friend, or just go like to the library or computer lab or something, to get yourself out of that situation, because again, surrounding yourself with that negative talk is not healthy, and will just undermine your recovery. The third thing that I want to recommend is talking to them. If it's somebody who knows about the problems that you have with your eating disorder, just being honest with them and saying, hey, like you constantly talk about dieting and that's not helping me. And there are so many people who do that. Like I have my one friend I drive to school and she knows about me, and she's always like, oh my gosh, I have to go run, and I need to work out more, like I need to lose so much weight. Like it's not that regular, like I need to lose it, but it's more of like, oh, I should be running, kind of thinking about that. And like I just sit there looking at her and I'm like, excuse me, like I don't want to hear your diet talk. I'm working on recovery, I don't want to surround myself with that negative talk. And so she's been nice because I was open with her. I just directly said, hey, like it's not helping me when you talk about that. And she recognized, sometimes literally they don't even have the insight to think about that, because it's so acceptable in today's society to talk about food, fat, calories, weight, all of that loveliness, exercise, health, that we think that it's okay. And sometimes we do forget. But sometimes people do need that gentle reminder that, hey, like, this is kind of triggering. Like, I don't want to screw up my recovery, and I need to work on myself, and so can you please refrain? If it's somebody who doesn't know that you have an eating disorder, what I would recommend doing is just being like, hey, like, kind of redirecting them in a gentler way, being like, hey, like, I'm sorry that you feel you need to lose weight by tomorrow, but, you need to take care of yourself, and even pointing out things like, it's not like you're eating 7 slices of cake every day, and, like, you can eat in moderation. You can take care of yourself, and if you want like an extra piece of pizza one day, like that's no problem. It's not like you're eating 7 slices of pizza every day or 7 slices of cake, but rather like I eat healthy for like multiple days, and just today I'm feeling, I want another handful of chips or something, and recognizing that you got to listen to your body too, and kind of reminding them that. And so I think that's definitely another way, but being open with them, being like, hey, I'm sorry, like I can't stand, like even having that mindset, being like, I can't stand diet talk, I think that it's stupid, whatever, you can blow it off, but be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear diet talk. So I think that's another thing that you can do. But what I do think is really important is, because Ed does like to slip in and get his way around, would be to check in with yourself, journal, to listen to music afterwards, to draw, to talk to a trusted friend, to kind of get a sense of how you can cope in order to just get those thoughts off, to have them come in one ear and out the other, just let them go. And their baggage, their diet talk, their weight loss, their work there is all them. You don't need to carry the baggage of your friend who wants to lose 70 pounds, or your friend who feels that they're fat and is seeking approval by you by saying, like, validation that they are thin, they are beautiful, they are gorgeous. And kind of recognizing that you don't need to carry that baggage, that you can go on, and if you put yourself, your happiness, your recovery in the forefront, that you are taking care of yourself, and that's something that's so, so important. So this is my advice on how to cope with people friends, acquaintances, people in your school environment, people that you'll be interacting with who may be talking about diet food and how to kind of get out of those situations. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and I hope all of you are well. Okay, bye.